Becoming her doesn't look like a highlight reel. For me, it's honestly looked like gallbladder removal surgery, selling my home, and trusting a plan I can't fully see yet. So let's get into it. I actually felt called to make a video today of becoming her. It was like a tagline I used when I made a video the other day, just sharing with the internet that I'm moving to Europe. And I think what's crazy to me is that when I made this decision, I went on my first solo Euro trip. This was 3 months ago. I was feeling unstoppable. I came back from Madrid, and everything in me was like, I'm ready for this next chapter. I'm ready to move. It's going to be so great. However, I had no idea that me saying I'm moving in 6 months meant my entire life is going to change in 6 months. Like, even though I consciously knew, like, I'm leaving my friends, my family, my city, I had no idea what else I had to lose. So I actually want to bring you in and like what I thought it was going to be versus like what it actually is. I thought it would be like I'm going to come here and I'm going to ride this joy and this happiness and just like take care of business, get to Europe as fast as I can. And I knew there would be like strategy and planning and finances and like the concept of imagining a life, you know? So I came back, I made vision boards, telling a few people close to me, guys, I'm moving, this is what's happening. And it was feeling like super exciting. The thing that happened though is when I came back from Europe, my body was like, hello, pay attention to me. And it started with a toothache. Didn't think anything of it. I'm like, everything's fine. It always is fine. I just keep like, dismissing it. You listen to your body when it's like in dire need. So I had a toothache, but eventually it went away. I'm like, everything is fine. A couple weeks later, I got woken out of my sleep in pain. And I didn't know it at the time, but it was my gallbladder. So it happened 2 to 3 times in one night. I eventually had to like call an Uber, go to the emergency room. This was around November 16th or so. And literally, I had no idea what chapter had opened. I just knew that like moving to Europe now meant something is wrong with my body. So I got to put this idea on hold and I got to prioritize this thing. So it started with a series of tests like CTs, going into the emergency room, blood test, all of the things. And fast forward about a month later, I finally, after an ultrasound, found out it's my gallbladder. So not only did it take a long time for me to get diagnosed, when I finally went to see the specialist and they referred me to the surgeon, I was like, oh my God, I have to have surgery. Mind you, I've never been to the emergency room. I've never been that girl that's like sick or spending the night at the doctor's. This was new for me. And basically, they set the surgery 6 weeks out. So at the time, even though I'm like, yay, Europe, my brain was like, oh my God. So needless to say, it was a lesson in patience because not only did it take forever to find out what was wrong, my surgery was scheduled 6 weeks out and I just had to wait. So today's actually February 3rd. My surgery was scheduled for February 23rd. In a weird way, the way life happens, I ended up having my surgery ahead of time because from the time that it started in November, I had 18 different episodes where my gallbladder would flare up. And I'm talking debilitating pain, crying myself to sleep, going to the ER, being like, what is going on? We finally found out what it was. It was, why do I have to wait? Why 6 weeks? Like, this is urgent to me. And I learned a lot about the medical system in America. That's a whole nother story, but being forced to wait 6 weeks when your body is literally suffering with everything you eat, something like a little bit of ice cream or eggs was enough to have me breaking down, suffering, crying myself to sleep. At the same time, remember that tooth pain came back. So it ended up that I had to go to the dentist and literally get an extraction, which again, processing that alone, it's like, what do you mean I have to lose a tooth? I don't know, being a girl, you think vanity immediately. Number two, that sounds painful and traumatic. Like the last time I was at the dentist, it was like for my wisdom teeth. And the trauma alone, I didn't want to go back. It was one of those things that you like shelf, never to be done again. So surgery looming, tooth extraction looming. And then I'm like, I'm still moving. So I had to decide what is happening with my condo because really, if it's 6 months, that's not a whole lot of time when you have to like sell a property and figure out your next steps. So that's another thing. In the midst of all of this chaos and all of this pain and these 18 episodes, there was a trip with my family. There has been telling my friends. There has been telling my job, telling my boss, like, hey, I'm thinking of doing this. Like, are you open to me working remote? All of these big things that I knew I had to do, but like for some reason, everything kind of just happened at once. So what it looks like in real life becoming her is breaking down everything you think you control being out of your control. Timing and patience It's really not up to me. Don't get me wrong, I'm still moving in 6 months. That is still the goal. I have a lot that I'm planning to do. But at the same time, the surgery, the tooth extraction, these trips, the condo, none of that was up to me. Where we stand today, the condo went live last week. Let's hope that it's going to sell. I believe that it will. My surgery happened last week. I am 1 week post-op. And that experience in itself has humbled me. Like, I'm a new person because of it. I had no idea it was that deep or that extensive. The extraction has already happened. Again, minor setback when you really break it down, but at the time, really emotional, really painful, really deep. And it took days to kind of get back to like being able to eat solid food again. And then you add on top of that a surgery where like it was food related. It was like everything in my body, when I look at it symbolically, it's a lot to digest. And my body was doing the best that it could, right? So if I could say the inner shifts that have to happen when you're making a big life transition or a big life decision, or you're calling in a version of you like I am, or you're like, I'm becoming her, my love, your nervous system, you're gonna have to do that work. You're gonna have to regulate it. For me, it's looked like accepting help. It's looked like slowing down. It has looked like having to advocate for myself when it comes to like my medical stuff, but also being at peace when it's not up to me, when I can't control the timing, when I can't decide when and how things happen, right? It's also looked like setting boundaries, saying no, being less available to people. I have cut so many people out of my life because when I tune into me 6 months from now, when I'm already living in Madrid doing the thing, they're not coming. They're not there. So why hold on? A lot of times there are people and situations and things in your life that are like way past due. Like you've been called time and time again to let it go, but it takes a catalyst like your health, like starting over, like moving across the world to be like, why have I held on this long? Right? Another thing that really came up for me was faith, because I have no idea what the story looks like. And like my intention with this is not documenting it because I already got it figured out. Like I'm documenting the journey. I'm documenting me on my way to the destination. I'm documenting me in the middle of me becoming her, becoming this woman that I tried on when I went to Madrid and I was like, I want to move here. Now me, fast forward to May, June, when I'm there, when I arrive, or me in December when I'm at Christmas looking back, I'm sure that version of me is going to be like, wow, I did that. But right now, the last 3 months, the last 90 days of like, I'm so excited, have actually looked like things breaking down. But here's what I know. Things break down because they needed to. You needed that breakthrough. Things fall apart so that the right things can fall into place. If you're holding on to things that you're not supposed to, there is no room for new, better things to come into your life. And I think for me, the biggest thing is always coming back to, man, I wish I had documented when I was going through this thing. In my life, there's a lot of big transitions. There's a lot of big changes. There's a lot of inner work that happens, but nobody ever gets to see it. They just get to see the outcome. They get to see me after I've lost the weight. They get to see me after I left the relationship, after I went through the divorce, like after I moved cities. This time, my intention, and again, I don't know what's coming out of this, but I just feel called to show you in real time the fear of not knowing what's ahead, the uncertainty of not knowing how it's going to work out, trusting the timing even when you don't know what you're trusting or how it's going to unfold, choosing that long-term vision over the comfort of right now, having to let go of things like a tooth and a gallbladder, which I know in theory sounds so small, but I'm literally losing body parts to embody the version of me that lives in Madrid. Now, could that have happened at any other time in my life? Could they be unrelated? Maybe. But in my story, in my current situation, these are the layers I'm having to shed. These are the things I'm having to walk through. These are the places where I'm being called to go higher, to be more honest, to be more authentic, to show the real. And again, it might be for someone else, it might be just for myself, but I'm trusting this knowing that I'm meant to document the journey as it's happening. In a perfect world, I'm vlogging the transformation and I'll be able to watch it back and be like, holy crap, look at that. I could not have told you 90 days ago that any of the stuff that I just told you was going to happen. The condo selling, that I knew. Me putting it in the market, that I knew. But the surgery, the tooth extraction, the friends that I've lost, how much help I've had to receive, how my body literally had to relearn how to do basic things, like the amount of physical pain and emotional pain that I have gone through the last few months. but also how many beautiful things have happened, how much support I've received, how things have just aligned to make room for how good life is about to get. This time, my intention is to bring you along with me to show you what it really looks like to become her, what it really looks like to change your identity, but not the aesthetic version, the Instagram reel, the cute little pop up, but like the real, raw, broken human that like is figuring it out. And once she's on the other side and you're like, wow, how did you get there? You can just watch it back. You can see the moments of fear and uncertainty and doubt and panic and lack of trust and faith and not even being able to see like what's ahead or like what's coming or how it's going to work out. But I know this, the future version of me that already did this, she knows how it works out. My only job is to wake up every day, tune into that version and move on purpose. And today that looked like I want to record a video. I want to share it. I just want to speak on it. I just want to make sure that I can come back to this moment because time really does fly. And it's been 90 days. I fast forward the opposite way, like a loop of time. The next 90 days, who am I going to be? Everything will be booked at this point. The condo would be sold at this point. I'm already with a date set of when this is happening and what that looks like. And here's the thing. I've done a lot of researching. I've done a lot of planning. This time around, I just want to show you what it looks like to live it. I just want to bring you into the real time of what this looks like not the curated aesthetic version, but like the real raw journey through the darkness. Because the darkness is not, oh my God, I moved to Madrid. Is, oh my God, I had to go through all of this and lose all of this and experience all of this to get here. But it was worth it because at the end, there's that dream, there's that version. So if you want to tag along, watch the journey unfold. Again, I don't know what that looks like, but it doesn't matter. Stick around because I intend to be doing a lot more content like this where I'm just going to riff and trust what's coming up is meant for the right person. But if I can do it, you could do it. And whatever your dream, whatever your goal, whatever your Madrid is, I'm excited to see you become that person in real time. I don't want to see the highlight reel. I don't want to see the perfect curated version. I want to see you live it and go through it because that makes me more connected. That makes it more genuine. Those are the people that I really want to surround myself with, are people who are like afraid, but do it anyways. I shall bring you into like what the actual plans look like, my business, money, Europe. But I will say this, my planning from this place is coming from a place of calm and complete surrender. My planning 90 days ago was coming from wishful thinking and an idea. So I'm excited to see how it unfolds over time. But I love you guys, and I will see you on the next one.